Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to go and do a sound comparison between the Micca MB42 and the Edifier 1280t. Again, these are my speakers. I've had them for some time. I've done another video where I compared the Micca MB42 with my Edifier 1850 dB. And you know, the clear winner was Edifier. Today we're going to compare these two side by side. Both of them are on similar price bracket. The Edifier 1280t will cost you around $100. The Micca MB42, I think they recently increased the price. I picked these things up used for like $40-$45, and then I bought the amp for about $20-$25. So all in all, I spent about, let's say, $60 or close to $70 for this whole package. Now, depending on your taste, you might get a different amp, but you know, it's important to understand how these speakers work so you can kind of choose which one you like. So let's go over some of the specs, and I'll go into a little more details about frequencies and watts and sizes and everything. The Miccas, their frequency response is 60 hertz to 20 kilohertz. That's a good range for bookshelf speakers. And then the Edifiers, this one ranges between 75 hertz to 18 kilohertz. So this one drops down to 60 hertz, and this one can only drop up to 75 hertz. So by that comparison, you can expect the Miccas to give you a little better bass. Now, when it comes to wattage, the Miccas will handle about 75 watts each channel. So each speaker can handle up to 75 watts versus the Edifiers altogether, they can push about 42 watts. So that means each speaker will push about 21 watts at max. Now, the mid-range, they're the same size, 4-inch. Just the material could be different. Miccas, they say theirs is carbon fiber. The other differences would be like the tweeter size. So the Micca, this one's tweeter size is 0.75 inch, and the Edifier has a tweeter size of 0.5. So the difference is, you know, this one's smaller and this one's a little bigger. So by that comparison, you can expect this one to sound a little warmer, per se, maybe. I don't know. That's why we're doing a sound test. We'll find out. The other big difference is going to be, you know, your listening experience. The Edifiers are ported in the front, and it's a bigger hole, versus the Micca, that they are ported in the back, but it's a much smaller hole. For this test, because the Miccas are passive bookshelf speakers, I do need to use my amp, and for this one I'm going to use the LePi TI. I've had this amp for a long time and I really like it. I did another video of it where I compared the 2020 Ti versus LePi 2020 A+. TI is a little better by slight margin. If you find either one of them on sale, or if you find either one of them on the market, just get whichever. It doesn't really matter, not on the big scale. Even though these speakers can handle up to 75 watts, I don't have a mini amp that can push that much power. The LePi will push about 15 watts per channel, which is okay. You know, these things can only produce 21 watts per channel, and this one will right now produce 15 watts per channel. And I'm not even gonna crank them up that loud. I'll make it loud enough for you guys to hear the difference or pick it up on the microphone. This time, instead of recording on my dinky little camera, we're gonna use a microphone. I'm using Samsung Q2U. Okay, I think I spoke a lot. Why don't we go ahead and do some test? I got some audio ready in the background. We'll just fire this thing up, and I'll crank up the volume, and then you guys can listen to it for yourself. We're gonna start with the Edifier first, and then I'll immediately switch it to this one as soon as it's ready. So right now we're listening from the Edifiers. All right, we're gonna switch. All right, switching to the Miccas. that sounds pretty good. I mean, I can crack up the Miccas a lot more. Let's do it. Let's go ahead and switch it to the Edifiers. Let's go ahead and crank up the Edifiers a little more. That was pretty intense. Yeah, both speakers, they do really well. But one key difference I've noticed, the Miccas sounded a lot better. And I'm pretty sure that's due to probably the amp, I think. Plus, it's got a bigger tweeter. Plus, it's got a stronger driver. Remember, the Miccas go down to 60 hertz versus the Edifiers can only go down to 75 hertz. Plus, the other difference is that, you know, it is ported in the front versus ported in the back. Even though I like stuff that are ported in the front, the Miccas did sound a lot better in this setting. You know, depending on what your taste is, if you want to go with some bookshelf speakers and if you want to go with an amp that you like, then definitely the Miccas, you know, they're budget friendly. It's not going to break your wallet to get it, and it will serve you pretty well. Edifiers, on the other hand, you know, depending on your taste, if you just want a clean setup, you want to put some bookshelf speakers, and you just want to set it, forget it, then these are it. The Miccas, you have to worry about wires, you got to get an app, all these things. Edifiers, you don't, just set it up. So the way I would say is this, that depending on which route you want to go, if you want to go with getting some passive bookshelf speakers, find an amp that you really like. If it's Lepi, if it's something else, find an amp that you really like, and based on that amp, find some passive bookshelf speakers that will suit your taste. And if you don't care about that, well, you have the Edifiers. Yeah, well, clearly, the Miccas won this round compared to, you know, these Edifiers, the 1280t. The Miccas won. There's another version of this, which is the MB42X. The X is really because they added a better crossover inside the speaker. I don't have it. I did order it. It's gonna come in probably next week or something, and then I'll get around to doing a comparison between the MB42X versus the MB42. Then I'll do something about MB42X versus this and versus the other one. Everything. What do you say we do a little more sound test before we call it a day? All right, let's play the same track we listened to earlier, playing out of the Miccas right now. the Edifier. And then we'll switch back one more time to the Micca. And we'll switch back to the Edifier.
Dynamite, drop it.
That's the Miccas. Edifiers. All right, I think that kind of does it. One thing I do want to point out is my amp is holding back these speakers because my amp is not as strong as these speakers can handle. If I had an amp that could push like 30 watts per channel, then this would be completely different right now. But I don't have an amp like that. I have a very, decent mini amp that cost me like 20-30 bucks, and that's how it is. Hopefully you guys can hear the difference. Hopefully you guys did pick it up. If you're listening to it from your phone, I don't know if you'll be able to hear all of it, but you definitely want to hook it up to, like, let's say your headphone. If you have some decent pair of gaming headsets or something, use that. That might give you better listening experience when you're watching this video. So there you go. That's the comparison between Micca MB42 and Edifier 1280t. And right now, on my book, the winner is the MB42, just because of the the amp. The amp plays a big difference, plays a key role here. And if you have a very good amp, if you spend like $50-$60 behind a decent amp, or even $100-$150 amp behind a decent amp, a 2-channel amp, then definitely the Miccas will give you better taste. So yeah, stay tuned for more videos. Thanks so much for watching. Till next time.